Good morning, everybody. Wake up.
Wake up, wake up.
In Provincetown. This week featuring
Wake up, wake up.
Can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
Make it strong, please. Hey. Oh. Hey.
Wake up, wake up.
Oh. No, really. Can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
Oh, isn't that adorable? Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, July 15th, which means only one thing, Harrison. What is that one thing?
Bear Week is almost over.
That is
that the
what
one
you
thing?
read my mind.
Okay, yeah.
We're finally getting to the point after over 100 shows where we can read each other's mind.
Yeah. We're almost there.
What am I thinking now?
You want to talk about who you have on the show today?
That is what I was. Oh my God, you're
Wow.
2 for 2. Who do we got?
So I sat down earlier this week with Megan Nussele and Lee, her last name is really hard, to talk about The Love of the Nightingale, the new show that is premiered last Sunday on the beach. It's going to be split between Herring Cove South and also the beach in front of the Crown and Anchor. It's a really cool show. Sat down and talked with them about that. We'll be showing you a little video later.
And our in-person interview today is the one and only, well, not the one and only, because
Right.
there's actually 2 in town right now, but Nina West, the famed bartender that's been in Provincetown for 25 years.
No, the other Nina West.
Oh, we're having the drag queen Nina West
Yeah.
on? Oh, I thought we were having the bartender.
Yeah, fresh off her performance last night at Town Hall. I got to check it out. It was really incredible. It was called Bear Trap. She is just a ray of sunshine. It was just really fun. It very much encapsulated all the Bear Week spirit that we really love.
Does Nina out of drag identify as a bear?
I'm unsure.
We'll find out.
Based on her shtick last night, yes, I think. Or even if she doesn't identify as bear, she loves a bear. That was very apparent. She had this beautiful mini cocktail dress with the bear flag on it. It was really, really gorgeous. She also came out dressed as a Care Bear, which that's the perfect Nina West take on Bear Week.
Oh, I wish I had thought of that. When I did my show last Sunday, I came out dressed as Winnie the Pooh.
Cute. No pants, just a shirt.
It was like a Winnie the Pooh onesie. I don't have a picture of it right now.
I imagine you coming out completely naked, but with a red crop top.
That's not allowed at the Post Office Cabaret. Actually,
That's only allowed
only
allowed at the Crown and Anchor.
No, they had those nudie male dance shows at the PO, so it actually is allowed, but that's not my style.
I wish you walked out in just nothing but a red crop top and you're like, it's art!
No, but I was gonna have Mike Flanagan play Honey as the come out music. And I was what I actually did, I came out in the excuse me, clear my throat. I came out in the Winnie the Pooh costume and said to everybody, I was like, you guys, the opening bit was gonna be me licking honey off a stranger's fingers, but monkeypox.
Yeah.
Everybody had just gotten the first dose of their vaccine. I don't know about you, but my arm still hurts. This is 8 days later.
Mine wasn't so bad, and it
Yours still hurts
it doesn't hurt. It never really...
Mine has a bump like a mosquito bite.
Mine too.
Yeah, and it's tender to touch. Now you feel that it still hurts?
Yeah, a little.
You've just
it was never that bad, though.
I can't sleep on this side.
Oh. But still worth it, right?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. I've got my second shot in about 3 or 4 weeks, I think.
And it feels like, we know of some cases in town. It is a very unpleasant experience. You do not want monkeypox, just like you didn't want COVID, just like you didn't want murder hornets, just like you didn't want your rights to be taken away. It's been a rough month or two. No, snap out of it. What's meningitis?
Oh yeah, so meningitis is spreading through the queer community in Florida.
What the fuck?
I know.
How do you get that?
I'm not unsure.
You're not unsure, so you're sure.
Snails. Look it up.
Giant
Really?
snails? Oh my God, I'm gonna kill you.
We're going to have Julian Beck on or somebody from the
Right.
health department to tell us about the meningitis outbreak.
The CDC is suggesting that queer men in Florida get vaccinated for that, but as we know, living in a small seaside community that encompasses the world, if it's anywhere, it's here.
Right.
Yeah.
So just be vigilant, turn the lights up, be careful, watch out for those giant snails.
Yeah.
Don't touch snails? Is that the...
Mark is actually Googling right now to see if what he said has any veracity whatsoever. We'll let you know in a minute. But until then, Harrison, what did you do this week?
I had a really fun week. This past Monday, we moved trivia back to Monday. Unfortunately, Bob is not going to be with us for the summer as he's working at the Red Inn on Monday nights. But trivia is back on Monday nights, back out on the patio.
At 7.
Yeah, at 7 o'clock on Monday nights. And I didn't realize how much I missed being outside for trivia.
It's so fun.
I always thought it was like, oh, outside, inside, who cares? And then I went outside, I'm like, this is so cute.
That is what it is. Like
Yeah.
the 8 weeks or whatever that we get to do it in the front yard under the stars is, to me, what Bruce Clues is.
Yeah. This past Monday, I hosted with Senator Julian Sear. He did a
What was
round
his round?
on sides.
Sides?
What time is it?
7
7
p.m.
o'clock.
every Monday.
Yeah.
Sides? Like
Yes.
side dishes?
Yeah, I think that was my first question. I'm like spinach au gratin?
Mm-hmm.
But, so it was like kind of in a few, I think in March 2022, Grindr, they have like selections of what you can identify as for your preferred sexual position, and obviously it's like top, bottom, verse top, blah 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 verse. But they added side as an option, which is for, I'm unsure if it's besides gay men, but specifically to gay men, it is men who prefer their sexual experiences to not necessarily include penetrative anal sex.
Aside, okay.
Frottage.
Frottage. I consider myself a main. I'm not a side.
Yeah.
Main course only,
That's
guys.
it.
Skip right to the entree. Oh, you're telling me this is a Florida county is quarantining after invasive giant African land snail. This has nothing to do with meningitis. A Florida county is under quarantine due to the discovery of a fast-growing population of invasive giant African land snails. The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services confirmed there were giant African land snails in the Newport Richey area of Pasco County on June 23rd. 23rd? The snails pose a health risk to humans because they carry a parasite called rat lungworm, which can cause meningitis.
Is that really why though?
Yeah.
That's
That's
wild.
what caused the meningitis outbreak?
No, different.
But it had the word meningitis in the article, so you made me read that out loud. Got it.
Interesting.
As we were saying,
Yeah.
Ethan is wearing a really beautiful, colorful tank top. He just unzipped his hoodie, and I was
He's-
like, "Oh, look at that!" It was
so
it was a
proud.
reveal. He's like, "Bing."
Trivia's on Monday, hosted with Julian.
Sides.
Yeah, it was really incredible. I think maybe the switch back to Monday and also being outside, we had like 14 teams.
That's great.
Yeah, it was really cute. We moved all the couches out onto the patio, so we had all the tables and like people sitting in couches. It was a lot
A
of
giant
fun.
outdoor living room.
Yeah. Brian Sims came and played.
Did he win?
No, do you know who did win? The Pop and Dutch crew.
Of course.
Their team name was Beef Boys.
Beef Boys?
Beef Boys.
But weren't there girls on the team?
There were, yeah, but Beef Boys. But they, I think they were in like third going into it, and the round was movie theme songs, and it was a point for the movie, and then also a point for the composer, and they got every single one.
Did Mike Flanagan play?
No, we played it over the like the recordings over YouTube.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Sean definitely spearheaded that.
I mean, he knows his stuff.
He knows stuff. What did you get to this week?
Well,
Any
last Sunday
highlights?
I did my show at the Post Office Cabaret to a nearly
right.
sold out crowd.
Slay.
We raised a lot of money for the bench that we're going to place in town with Raquel's name on it. We raised enough money to, we did a full page of photos in the Independent. And
What you wrote was really beautiful.
thank you. So we're gonna get to do some fun stuff in her name, which makes me so happy.
I feel like the bench should be made of glitter so that when you sit on it, you leave with covered in glitter, because that's just my experience with Raquel. It's
Oh,
like you get
totally.
within 5 feet of Raquel and you're like, what the fuck?
I know.
I'm
You're like,
covered
"I
in glitter.
told her no."
Exactly. I remember her pouring Elmer's glue all over my body and throwing glitter on me, and I was like, this was a mistake.
Was it though?
Yes.
Yes.
Especially because I ended up getting so drunk that night that I just went to bed and woke up, and it was just like, who am I, Peter Wisdom?
You-
We're going to wish Arm to get well soon. He's
Yes.
not feeling great, but.
Right. There's a lot of people who are not feeling great right now in town, whether it is COVID or something else. And I mean, I don't know if this is, are we allowed to say what's wrong with it? He has pneumonia, which is not COVID related.
Right.
And he's in the hospital with pneumonia, which is, he's only 41, 42. He's a very fit, healthy person who unfortunately has pneumonia in the middle of the summer
Yeah.
and called me from the hospital. And I'm like,
Right.
I can't deal with This is,
There
it's a
is-
lot right now.
There's something else going around town that isn't COVID or monkeypox that is this weird, like, respiratory.
The crud, the bear crud.
Yeah, but it's like, it's extra this year.
It's privet.
I don't know. I've heard of a lot of people that have, like, got a really bad cold and then the cold kind of goes away, but there's just this, like, wretched chest congestion sticks around and they end up having to do, like, antibiotics and a steroid inhaler to make it go away. So if you're sitting at home going, oh my God, that's me, please talk to your doctor about what you can do to get better soon.
Take good care of yourselves and each other. Hopefully we can make it through this summer.
Yeah.
So that's what I did on Sunday, and then of course I worked Monday and Tuesday. Two of my best friends from life came to visit this week. My friend Paul was here Sunday to Thursday morning, and my friend EJ got to town last night.
Paul came and played trivia.
Paul did come in. Well, he was like, I didn't play, I went
was there, you're
and
right.
helped someone lose. Like, whoever he helped, they didn't do very well. But we had a really good time on Wednesday. The Queen Vic boys rented a pontoon for the afternoon, so it was really nice to be out on the water all afternoon on a really perfect sunny summer day. We went to Long Point with a bunch of giant umbrellas and just like chilled on the beach, had sandwiches and set up a little table with a bunch of sides. Julian would have been very proud of us. It was just a perfect afternoon. And then we came back to town, saw Dina Martina. Last night I saw Varley Jean Merman, and I just knocked off half of the Mount Rushmore in one fell swoop for my summer. You need to see both of these shows.
Oh, duh.
Dina, Varla are like not to be missed. And one of your favorite Varla bits, which she put to such good use last night, whenever she's talking shit on a famous person, she's like, it's okay, she's a colleague. It's okay, he's a colleague, which is, it gets funnier and funnier as the show goes on. And she finally was doing it, like talking shit on Demi Lovato. And she's like, but you know what, guys? And the crowd was like, she's a colleague. And Varla goes, they are a colleague. Which, was just perfect.
Right. I remember Lizzo was walking in somewhere and the paparazzi were like, oh, Demi Lovato, she blah, blah, blah. And Demi Lovato, Lizzo's just ignoring, and then someone uses the wrong pronouns and then she like whips around and she's like, they. And then just continues walking.
Just that one word.
I love that.
It was perfect. Varla was just perfect and fun. And Ethan works that show, so Ethan knows this. The show has already changed from when it opened less than a month ago to now. So there's numbers in it last night where I was like, how is there already a monkeypox number in this show?
Right.
Like she wrote that 2 days ago or something. Such a pro. Love her.
Yeah. I got to see Nina West last night.
How was Nina?
Really, really incredible. The crowd was so great. So much fun. We're obviously going to talk with her about that later, but it was great. Then I bartended the Polyglamorous party at Velvet, or Red Room. Jesus, I'll get there someday.
How was Polyglamorous?
It was really fun. I love their style of music. They do a really good job of kind of making the music really sexy and also really fun. Like, actually, they played a lot of Janet last night.
Sexy and fun.
Yeah, it was mostly like no words except like 2 or 3 Janet songs.
Why didn't I go to that? That was last night?
Yeah.
Oh, I was asleep already.
I don't know if this is like a DJ thing in general, but I feel like Mark Luke does it a lot at Fag Bash, and Polyglamorous did it last night, where they like obviously play like really fun, interesting, like remix productions of music, and then they like kind of end with just like an album track. And they did Love Will Never Do at the end.
That was the closing number? That is so perfect.
Is that a thing? DJs do that?
Leave them singing.
Leave them singing. I
Leave
love
them
that.
singing, says DJ Professor Andrew Haig. Teach the children, Andrew.
Yeah.
Leave them singing. I love that. That's my motto now.
Let's talk about monkeypox real quick.
Okay.
Julian sent me some information. We talked about it last week. Vaccines were available this past weekend at Outer Cape Health Services. We made sure we got Ethan one, and everyone else in the room has gotten one. But I think they just secured even more vaccines. So if you weren't unable to get one or you are putting it off a little, please call Outer Cape Health Services to schedule. It is a 2-dose regimen, but I'm fairly certain that within the after 2 weeks, you're 85% efficacy.
You are 85%.
I didn't use that right, but whatever.
No, you didn't. But
after 2 weeks, the vaccine is 85% efficacy.
has 85. Yes. You're almost there. You're 85% of the way there to being so that you don't get monkeypox.
To using efficacy
After
right.
2
I'm
weeks.
85% of the way there to
Yes.
using the word efficacy right. But I think they administered 700 They vaccinated 700 people in 6 days, which is wild.
Well done, Outer Cape.
Yeah, thank you so much. And in that same spirit, I sat down with a gentleman named Alexander, who's a reporter from the Boston Globe, to talk about my experience with monkeypox, but like the community's reaction to monkeypox, getting vaccinated, all that good stuff. I really hope I didn't make a fool of myself. I did say a couple things where I'm like, they're gonna make it seem like I hate circuit queens.
They're going to make it seem that way? I'm sure that you made it seem that way.
No. I threw a no judgment in there once or twice.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, I made it when I walked up to that little shed behind Outer Cape that day. I was like, "What's up, hoes? I'm here for the slut vaccine." And the people that work there were like, I'm just kidding. I am not slut shaming. Not only sluts get monkeypox.
Yeah.
But mostly.
Oh my God, you're the worst.
JK.
But obviously, regardless of whether you're vaccinated or not, please continue to be vigilant. I think you're not 100% protected until a bit after your second vaccination.
You're not 100% safe from it until you learn how to use efficacy correctly.
Oh geez, I'll never be safe.
Look out, Harry.
Yeah. But thank you again to Julian Sear for doing that tireless work to get vaccinations to our community here. Yeah. Let's see what else I got. Look, do you want to talk Emmy noms?
Oh my God, you guys. The Emmy nominations came out. The Emmys, of course, are in September, celebrating the best in television over the last year. And guess who got nominated for his first Emmy Award?
Who?
Jake Lacey from White Lotus.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. Marie Bartlett.
Was it in the category of best analingus scene on television?
Best shitting in a suitcase of all time.
That's debatable. I'm just kidding.
No, congratulations to our dear
Yeah.
friend Murray on his first Emmy nomination in the category of Best Supporting Actor in a Limited Series. This has to be a record, but 8 actors from White Lotus are nominated for an Emmy. 5 actresses in Supporting Actress.
In
a
one
limited-
category?
Yes, against
Damn.
each other, and 3 guys.
Who do you think's gonna get it?
I think Murray's going to win and Jennifer Coolidge is going to win. I mean, I know you love Sydney Sweeney.
I live for Sydney Sweeney.
I live for Connie Britton. They're all up against
Yeah,
each other. And the
that's
girl that
true.
played Paula, Jake Lacey, Murray Bartlett, and Steve Zahn are all up for Best Supporting Actor in a limited series. But do we have the little bit of that episode?
No,
Or
I couldn't figure it out.
So a year ago, right before White Lotus came out, we had Murray on the show. It was our 1-year anniversary show of doing Wake Up. Murray was on our first show ever. Murray came a year later.
He brought us cupcakes to celebrate.
To promote White Lotus, and I said to him that morning, you are going to be nominated and win an Emmy for Best Supporting Actor in a Limited Series. And he was like, you know how Murray is. He was just like, oh, it's about the work. And I'm like, I follow this shit and I know what I'm talking about. Just you wait and see. And now I hope I'm not jinxing him, but it's coming to fruition, Murray. It's all happening for you, and I'm so happy for you. This is so exciting.
He obviously fully deserves all of this based on his talent alone, but it just is the cherry on top that he is just the sweetest, kindest person you've ever met in your life.
So definitely have an Emmy watching party in September. We're going to have one. I ran into his boyfriend, Matt, the other day, and Matt was like, oh, I can't wait for your Emmy party. And I was like, aren't you going to be at the Emmys watching him win? And he's like, no, I'm not going to.
He's like, no, Ahmed will be there.
So good luck, Murray. We got our fingers crossed
Yeah.
for you. We know you're gonna win.
Yeah, White Lotus actually received 20 nominations
That's a
overall. Our girls, Melanie Linsky and Christina Ricci, got nominated for Yellow Jackets. Sarah Paulson got nominated for American Crime Story. She played Linda Tripp in American Crime Story Impeachment. It was really phenomenal. I watched that, and if you didn't, I was so young when all of that happened that I remember it, but not anything specific. So watching it was a lot of fun. Like seeing what really happened, or a dramatized version of what really happened.
Right.
But she was really phenomenal in it. She really captured the dislikability of Linda Tripp.
Unlikability?
Unlikability.
Like she just made her seem so unlikable?
Yeah, but in a way that wasn't. Do you know what I mean? It's easy to be unlikable, but it's harder to walk that fine line of like she wasn't inherently unlikable, but you could see how the greater image of her was incredibly unlikable.
Sarah Paulson is really good at becoming the person in a way that it's like, well, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Like she's like really going from like the motivational standpoint of that person, and presumably Linda Tripp did not think of herself as a villain.
Right. Exactly.
But she was.
Other queer people who got nominated, Kate McKinnon and Bowen Yang, both got nominated for SNL. It was Kate McKinnon's last season, so maybe she'll get that.
She won that before.
Oh, great. But I do feel like when it's your last one, they tends to put you over the top. Nathan Lane got nominated for a guest star in Only Murders in the Building.
He did?
Yeah. Selena Gomez also got nominated for that. RuPaul's Drag Race obviously got nominated for Best Reality Series.
Breast reality series?
Why can't I not talk today? As well as Best Host. I think all 5 of the Queer Eye guys got nominated. I don't know if that's like one nomination,
Together, right?
like if Best Host, all of them. I don't know. Notable snubs. Beanie Feldstein didn't get nominated for American Crime Story. She also was really great in that. She played Monica Lewinsky,
right.
and she was really good in that, and also captured Monica in a way that was really beautiful. Hunter Schafer didn't get nominated, and a lot of people are calling that a snub, but compared to the first season of Euphoria, where she had such a huge, complex role, this season she kind of felt a little more like a background character. Zendaya did get nominated, and I hope she wins. She was so incredible. And like you said, Jennifer Coolidge and Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney got nominated for both Euphoria and White Lotus. Yeah.
She's having a great year.
Love her. Speaking of Beanie Feldstein,
Yeah.
there's been drama in the Broadway world. Beanie Feldstein originated the role of Fanny Bryce in the revival of Funny Girl that is up on Broadway now. And since the premiere, it's been kind of fraught with controversy. She got a lot of really weird reviews for her role. I think a lot of the negative criticism is based on the fact that a lot of people just wanted Barbra Streisand 2.0, and that's not really what Beanie was giving. She was giving like kind of a quirky take on Fanny Bryce, which I feel like she kind of gave like a funny girl, if you will, take on Fanny, which I think is like
True to the,
true to the character and the role, and I think they wanted to kind of put in a new spin that felt a little more authentic, and people were not really having it. People praised her for her acting and didn't really think she had the singing chops for it.
But when the Tony nominations came out, she didn't get one of those either.
I know, seems yikes.
That felt snubby too. I don't know if we
Yeah.
talked about that when the Tony nominations came out.
Yeah.
But
It recently kind of leaked that she would be leaving on September 25th along with Jane Lynch. I feel like typically they'd keep that a little more under wraps until that got closer, which started like this shitstorm of drama.
they're leaving on the same day.
Well, so that came out that they would both be leaving on September 25th. I feel like typically they would wait a little longer to see if they wanted to extend the contract, but I think based on the reviews, that wasn't going to be in the plan, which is why it ended up getting leaked. Immediately, rumors of replacements. Obviously, Lea Michele's name was to the top because basically her whole role on the show Glee was kind of based on her wanting to be Barbra Streisand, and obviously I think it was the first episode where she sang "Don't Rain on My Parade," or maybe the last episode of the first season, somewhere in there. And so those rumors started swirling. There was actually an actress on TikTok who announced that she got the role of the replacement, and it went viral. Even Playbill.com reported that she was going to be the new replacement just because she like made a TikTok. It's like, I just got the role.
And she hadn't?
No.
That's hilarious.
Right, I was like, good for her.
Quality reporting, everybody.
Yeah. Last week, Beanie announced that she would actually be leaving much sooner than September 25th. She's leaving at the end of this month.
Oh.
Yeah. Producers immediately put out an announcement that they would be making a cast announcement for the replacement on this past Tuesday. And then this past Tuesday rolled around, and it was announced that Lea Michele would be replacing Beanie.
I wonder how long they knew that.
Yeah. Well, it seems like,
Months.
but it seems like they're kind of giving the people what they want in the people that felt like they just wanted Barbara 2.0, which is very much what Lea Michele gives in her performance of Fanny Bryce. And
Does that mean Jane Lynch is leaving in July too?
well, the casting of Lea Michele is a little controversial. She's taken, there's been a lot of drama and a lot of rumor around her as to how it is to work with her. A lot of her Glee co-stars came out and said that they found some of her remarks to be racist on set. They found her to be really unenjoyable to work with.
She was a mean girl.
Yeah,
Like,
that
movie is based on people like this.
There's also a rumor going around that she can't read.
What?
Yeah.
Absurd.
It's actually been a rumor for years, and like there's all of this thing like
Michelle's illiterate.
right, and people
I don't believe it.
people will ask her and she'll just like laugh and be like ha, and then like glaze over it.
And then exit through the entry door.
Right.
She's like pushing on a pole door.
It's called dyslexia.
Oh. No, not being able to read is called illiteracy.
But
She's dyslexic.
I
is
know.
what
I
you're
don't,
saying.
it's a rumor on like social media and TikTok. There's no diagnosis or anything like that. I think it's just people slightly bullying her. But a lot of people thought that Beanie might have been leaving early so that they could have a few months of crossover with both Lea Michele and Jane Lynch and kind of like a Glee reunion thing. And,
That would sell tickets.
Right. And then it was announced that Jane Lynch would leave at the same point as Beanie. She announced that it was simply because they wanted those two roles to premiere together, having both new roles filled at the same time.
Nice try, Jane Lynch. I don't buy it.
That's the general consensus, is that people are saying that she's leaving because she doesn't want to work with Lea Michele again.
The only person who knows that for sure is Jane Lynch.
And Lea Michele, I'm sure you know when people don't want to work with you, right?
I don't know. Do you?
Yeah, but it's so funny because so many of the plot lines in Glee were Lea Michele's character fighting for this role of Fanny Bryce. So there's all these images of Jane Lynch's character saying like, "Oh, you'll never play that role." And there's even one there like, "You're never gonna get the role of Fanny Bryce because you're just giving them Barbara." The producers are gonna want a new spin on.
Really?
Right. It's like
Art,
it's all too
imitating
real,
life,
right?
imitating art.
There's even like a meme of like Glee is the new Simpsons because
Oh,
Simpsons is
yeah.
always predicting things.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't you gonna go see it? This is Lea Michele's first time back on Broadway since Spring Awakening.
Right. I mean, Lea Michele is going to be incredible. She's gonna give you Barbara. She's so incredibly talented. However you feel based on everything else is the way you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great show. I would much rather see it with Jane Lynch and Beanie Feldstein, but
Yeah.
I love Beanie. She's really, really great. What else do we got? Something really not great happened in Boston over this past week. There's a new building site for an LGBTQ senior housing called the Pride Building, PRYDE. It was vandalized. There were a bunch of signs saying this is what was going to be built here, and over the three.
Did the Vandals change the Y to an I?
No.
Oh.
One of them did.
I would have.
Another installment of the queers hating vowels. But over the signs of the announcement of what was going to be there, things like "Die slow" and "We will burn this" and "Die by fire" were spray painted over the signs. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu tweeted, "Hate and acts of violence will not be tolerated at the Pride or anywhere else in Boston." And if you're worried that this will make people not want to stay there, after the news of this came out, there was a huge influx in people reaching out, trying to figure out how they can live there. I'm sure safety precautions will be made to make sure that nothing tragic happens. But Boston came out the way Boston does, and they made a ton of signs to cover up all that hate, and it actually turned into a really beautiful moment, but scary.
Totally.
People think like, oh, Massachusetts is a blue state, oh, Boston's such a liberal city, but like, hate is everywhere, and because of that, it is everyone's duty to be constantly vigilant and fight against that. I think with like the past, since 2016 and all the things that have happened, people are more empowered to be more vocal about their hate, and I think it's our job to remind them that the fuck you will.
Excellent. Nicely worded.
Yeah.
Go Boston.
In also really fun news, Provincetown favorites Ben de la Creme and Jinx Monsoon just announced another holiday spectacular tour. Unfortunately, they won't be coming back to P-Town as they have in the past, but they do have a Boston date set. It's going to be November 29th, or for New York.
Is that Thanksgiving weekend?
I don't know. Maybe
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. But it's going to be in New York on the 2nd and 3rd of December. They said it's going to be nonstop laughs, biting social commentary, dazzling spectacle, and that special Jinx and Dela brand of over-the-top camp.
Trevor, when is Holly Folly this year? Do you know the dates off the top of your head?
First, second, third.
The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So we can't be in New York. We have to go to Boston.
Yeah,
to see
we'll
them.
just have to do a short trip.
Yeah, totally. Excellent. That sounds exciting. We're already talking about Holly Folly. It's July 15th.
Wild. Jinx is doing really great on All Stars 7 All Winners. So be sure to tune in and see
How many more episodes are left of that?
I think only 1 or 2.
Yeah.
It's getting down to the wire, but she is at the top of the heap and doing really, really, really well.
Wasn't that your prediction from the beginning?
Yeah.
You were Team Jinx, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm Team Shea Coulee. I think when it comes down to it, my favorite drag queen is Shea Coulee. Have you seen that video of that girl who's at the drag show and the drag queen comes out and she's literally just like for like 30 seconds watching it? That's me every time Shea Coulee is doing anything. Yeah. And one time Phil Clemenza brought me to the pool and she's like, oh, I'm just meeting some friends at the P-Town pool. Do you want to come? And one of them was Shea Coulee and I literally was just doing that, standing 2 feet away from her.
Oh my God,
While
looking at her like
while
that.
she was trying to have fun at the pool. But be sure to check out, they're traveling the whole country, especially if you're in the Pacific Northwest. They do a lot of shows out there because they are both Seattle queens. But be sure to get tickets to that. We've seen their shows here in Provincetown before, and
So good.
yeah, very Varla Jean Merman. They have that same brand of just like performance. Yeah. Tomorrow night at the Mary Heaton Vorse House, there is a Summer of Sass fundraiser. I think, Ethan, you're going to be there, right? Awesome. They're going to have a bunch of sassers from the past few years come and tell their stories. I don't know if you know, but Summer of Sass is headed up by Kristen Becker. It is a nonprofit, and what they do is they relocate queer people from the ages of 18 to 20 from not so friendly places for them to live to Provincetown to experience all that Provincetown is. And I think it's such a great experience for so many of those people. They see they see what the world can be for them, and it just opens them up. And yeah, so tomorrow night, 5 to 7:30 at the Mary Heaton
Do you have to
Vorse
get
House.
tickets ahead of time?
You have to RSVP ahead of time. I think we have the flyer up now. I think there's also going to be raffle items, but it is a fundraiser. So even if you can't go, check out Summer of Sass's website where you can donate.
This is also the last week that you have an opportunity to go to the Provincetown Theater to see Sarah Schulman's The Lady Hamlet. It closes next Thursday or Friday. I wish we had gotten to interview her. It continues to get raves. Everybody loves this show. If you have time to catch a play, go see Sarah's play, The Lady Hamlet, at the theater. And at the What? Marry Me a Little, starring our friend Brittany Rolfs.
Yeah, also Kevin Quill, who we've had on the show before. I'm blanking on the male actor's name, but it is a star-studded cast. Be sure to check it out. It's such a great Sondheim show. I mean,
Brittany has like a pristine singing voice.
I just have absolutely no doubt that she is slaying. Yeah.
Catch some shows, you guys.
Yeah. Also tomorrow there is the AIDS Support Group of Cape Cod's 5K. Just kidding, Sunday. If that's your thing, get on board with that. Let's see. Women Crafts also, they're trying to purchase the building they've been in for, I think, 25?
Yeah.
Forever, right? Their building's up for sale and they offered it to Michelle to purchase, and I think she has limited time, but she is trying to collect donations for a down payment. So if you're able to, please donate to that. We'll be chatting a little with Nina about that in a bit as well. I think that's all.
That's all the news that's fit to share.
All the news. Let's stop in with Megan and Lee. I sat down with them at the Crown and Anchor, which is one of the sites for their show, The Love of the Nightingale, right on the beach there. And we chatted about what the show's about, what it's like to perform in open air theater. Yeah, check it out. Anchor, which is the home of the upcoming show, The Love of the Nightingale. And we are sitting down with the director, Megan Nussele. Thank you for sitting down with us today.
Thank you so much, Harrison.
So you opened last Sunday, and you've got 4 more Sundays of your show?
We do, yeah.
Awesome, really cool.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about the story that occurs in A Love of the Nightingale.
Sure, so it's about Philomele, the daughter of the king of Athens, and her sister. And it's based on that Greek tragedy, but a modern retelling. And it's about the rape and silencing of her, and the violent revenge that her and her sister seek afterwards. and what the gods do to try to break that cycle of violence.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, why do you think a show with those kind of themes is important to be telling right now?
Sure. It's unfortunately I chose the play before we were in our current political state and climate, so it's become more relevant as we've gone into rehearsals. But either way, it's the subject of rape isn't discussed very much in our public discourse, and it felt a very good. It's an approachable and a palatable way to ask these questions of the play and of the themes of these plays, and also relate it to larger themes of countries and how both humans and countries silence each other, and how to address that and move forward and break the cycle of violence. So it felt, always relevant when I chose it, and certainly in P-Town, just to represent women more on the stage and represent sexual harassment more and those issues, and then became even more prescient.
Totally.
Yeah.
So one of the most interesting things about this particular production is it's all happening on the beach.
Yeah.
How's that?
It's been good. The idea, part of the idea of Campfire Quorum, the theater company, is to produce theater sustainably. So we're using minimal props and scenery and using site-specific environments like the beach to create these worlds, usually mythical or fantastical worlds, that still provide that rich spectacle-based theatrical scenes, but it already exists in nature. We're not, consuming electricity or power or setting up all lights and sound and everything. The beach sort of acts as a character in the play. So it interacts with the different characters. There's a Greek chorus and with the three leads. And they each have their own relationship with the beach. The play is set on a beach and on a ship in the water, and so they're always referencing those things. That's sort of the world of this myth, and I figured let's just make that part real.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a production outside or on the beach before?
Not on a beach before, but we did a production of The Witch last year in the woods off of Howland Street.
Interesting.
So that was our first venture into that level of site-specific theater making.
Do you think the beach will be easier than the woods or harder?
It's harder, I think. I don't know, though last year's mosquito influx was difficult.
Oh, was it during that?
In September, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, that was wild. But the beach has its own complications with the sun and the wind, and sometimes if it's a big surf day, the actors have competition. But it also makes it a very epic presentation.
Right. So there's no microphones, there's no... Wow, you're really asking a lot of your actors.
I am, yeah, and they have been so generous with their time and their talent.
How many people are in the cast?
6 total.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, it's the 3 leads, and then a male chorus, a female chorus, and a non-binary chorus.
Really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so you had your first 2 shows this past Sunday, and you've got 4 more Sundays. What time? What times are the shows happening?
They're at 4 p.m. and 6:30 p.m.
Awesome. And I know some of the shows will be happening here, and then other shows will be happening in a different location?
Yeah, so this past Sunday was at Herring Cove South Beach. The next 2 Sundays are going to be at the beach of the Crown and Anchor. And then we're going to do July 31st at Herring Cove South Beach, and then return for our last performance day on August 7th at the Crown.
Awesome, really cool.
Yeah.
Where can someone get tickets for the show?
They can go to campfirequorum.org. And there's the ticket site right there.
Awesome. I can't wait. This sounds really cool. It sounds like a really interesting experience and kind of something you don't get to see a lot.
Yeah. It's a different way of producing theater.
Really cool. Well, congratulations. I really look forward to it.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. We are now lucky enough to sit down with one of the actors from the show. This is Goffin-Bonenfant.
Very well done.
Did I do it?
You did.
Yes, that was a tough one. Thank you so much for sitting down with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Having us.
Right. I wanted to chat with you a little about kind of your perspective of how it's been to be acting outside, acting on the beach.
Well, I love it. I am no stranger to site-specific theater. I've done a little bit before, but beach is a different game.
Yeah.
Sand.
Mm-hmm.
Sand, I don't know anybody, I'm sure this is full of beachgoers, but sand is quite difficult to walk in. It's quite difficult to move set pieces in. So we've been working together. The lovely thing about having such a small, intimate cast is you do become very close very quickly, especially when you have to rely on each other in such a very specific way of, I can't schlep this by myself. I need a team member. We need to work. It's very much, Megan has done a wonderful job of making this play so balletic that it really does strike a very harmonious chord between the actors and hopefully, you know, the audience as well.
You said you had done site-specific stuff. What other types of environments have you worked in? Just curious.
I've worked in a lot of urban environments, shipping containers, parks, just sort of sidewalks before.
Really cool.
Yeah, lots of different stuff. I'm a big fan of, you know, a little out there.
Yeah, totally. What role are you playing in this show?
I am playing Procne, Philomele's sister, who travels very far away and asks her sister to come join her. And I don't want to give too much else away because you have to come see the show.
Yeah, definitely. The themes of the show are kind of heavy, but how do you feel like the audience is going to relate to the specific production in regard to the themes?
Well, I think one of the things about having such an intimate setting and an intimate, you know, cast and a very basic set production is that it is as accessible as the play itself, in that it invites the audience to really be in an intimate environment with the content as well as those performing it. We are very close, we are very honest, and we are really in an open space in that way. So we invite the audience to create in their mind what we're creating on the stage, to really fill in the gaps themselves, which is so important in a story that's a myth, that really is sort of the allegory of this type of story. And so you need to be able to fill in those blanks. You need to be able to say, where does this fit into my understanding of the world around me?
Right, because most of the times myths are built around themes and experiences that will go on forever and we'll be dealing with forever, which is obviously in the show, sadly, something that happens.
Yes, and I think that that's very interesting, especially in the way that it happens to the characters within the play, because there's an element of it that is very pervasive throughout all of the characters and how they interact with these very difficult themes, because there are those who are direct victims by it. There are those who are victims and they may not know it. There are those who are perpetrators, and there are those who are concerned citizens standing by, some who do things and some who do not. And so no matter who you are, there's an element of you represented in this play.
Right.
There's nobody who isn't one of those types of people. And it allows you to take a very raw, basic look at what that is for you as an external viewer and what that is for you looking inward.
Right, like who am I in this?
Exactly.
Am I the victim? Am I a perpetrator? Am I an onlooker doing nothing? Am I an onlooker trying to help?
Exactly. And how do I feel about my own role? You know, seeing yourself represented in front of you. It's in that way, like you can do your makeup without a mirror, but like then you look in and you go, oh God, what have I done? And it's that same kind of a thing of, here, let me take a confronting look at myself through the magic of theater.
Really cool. I'm really excited to see this.
I'm excited for you too.
Congratulations on your opening day.
Thank you very much.
4 more to go.
I know.
Awesome. You can check out the show, The Love of the Nightingale, on Sundays at 4 o'clock and at 6:30, either at Herring Cove South or right here at the Crown and Anchor. Get some tickets. Thanks for sitting down with me.
Thanks for having me.
What Megan and her team at the Campfire Quorum are doing together is so original.
Yeah,
it's
really
like
cool.
theater out in the elements. Like they did a production of The Witch in the Dunes. I think that was their first show.
Yeah.
So definitely check them out.
Yeah. Please welcome to the show the incredible Nina West.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm here with you guys.
And you had your Provincetown premiere last night at Town
Yeah,
Hall.
my debut happened here in P-Town.
Work.
Yeah, I'm just over the moon about it. It's just been an unreal week. And
It's your first time in Provincetown.
My very first time. And so you hear all these stories about people coming to Provincetown and having these really magical experiences that they share with other queer people, and then you get here and it's, and I said it last night, it's much more magical than I had ever imagined. You know, experiencing it and being in the midst of all of this wonderful art and queerness, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. And Bear Week has such a great vibe as well.
I mean, yeah,
And it's also
that
very
too.
it's very much
Oh my God. Yeah, hot hairy men, love it. Yeah,
but like
yeah.
also like living here, we kind of see Bear Week as like the friendliest week. Like everyone is trying to chit chat and get to know each other and smile and compliment each other and
Yeah, I'd heard like that. That's also one of those things that I had heard coming into Bear Week was, don't be afraid to say hello to everybody walking down the
Yeah.
street. The vibe is so welcoming and so affirming and so much fun. So I've had such an incredible week here.
I feel like it's also perfect that you came for Bear Week as well because like you're one queen specifically. I've watched every season of Drag Race, as all of the viewers know, but you're one queen specifically who is so. You can tell kindness is your like modus operandi, like always kindness, friendly,
Yeah,
fun.
it's not an act. It's just it's who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
I think everyone's always like surprised when they meet me. They're like, "Oh, I'm like,
You are that
it's
nice."
Just me." So I'm from the Midwest, so that kind of I think adds to all of the the vibe of it all. Like very like you say hi to everybody. And say whatever. Yeah.
I saw on Instagram that you got to meet our Nina West.
Oh my gosh. So for years, I have had friends come to Provincetown and they would go to get drinks and they would find, it has now become this thing where they found out this bartender is named Nina West.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, whatever, this is such a joke, this is such a joke. And then every year I would get more and more photos of this Nina West. And so like literally my first night in, I was dropped off at Crown and Anchor and I was rushed right up to the bar. They said, order a drink, and they ordered a drink, and the woman turned around, and it was Nina West.
So cute.
So, like,
Nina fucking West.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure
correct,
she has
yes.
the shirt.
That's the one I have, yeah. So I had to make sure she got it. She's and she's so fun and so funny, and she was so great, yeah.
Your show last night was really incredible. I want to talk about a few moments that happened. You got to sing to one of your favorite people, one of your good friends.
My best friend. Are you kidding me? Last night was magic, and my best friend was there.
Right.
So the show was called Bear Trap, and I wrote the show specifically for Bear Week, for Provincetown, and I wanted to do a lot of research on making sure that I knew like what the vibe of the town was, what the culture is here, and how I could add to it and bring my own drag and my own style to it. And I was called by Stephen from Provincetown Business Guild, and he was like, "Oh, what do you think about John Waters coming to the show?" And I was like, "Oh, that would be great!
Yeah.
Right? How cool!" But I was also like internally like kind of like imploding. I was like, "Oh my God, John Waters!" I was really like that, and what was really shaping the show was kind of this idea of celebrating specifically queer men who have had a huge impact on my life. Divine, Howard Ashman, John Waters, and so he was there last night, and I did a kind of a send up of "Timeless to Me" from the musical Hairspray, and he's such a presence just by sitting there. So I mean, he's just such a presence, and he's so.
You introduced him, you got a standing ovation.
Yeah, I said, "Oh, please," I said, and he's here tonight, John Waters. The bears went crazy. They woofed, they gurred, they stood. Yeah, it was. Yeah. But it was amazing.
Y'all did something really cool together. I mentioned Women Crafts earlier, but you did a little fundraiser, which had a really great response.
Yeah, one of the things that's kind of always incorporated into, I think, every show that I do is some aspect of charity. And so one of the calls that I had with PPG was to find out where there was a need in Provincetown. And there was a few things that were mentioned, and Women Crafts was at the top of the list. Supporting, it's like the 13th, what is it? It's the 13th, one of the 13 female-owned businesses, or queer-owned businesses in the country that caters to specifically this. And having this opportunity to help them in a wonderful time to make sure that this business stays here and is a part of the continued culture of Provincetown was a joy. And so what we did was we had John sign a few books, personalize a few books for some people, and in the process we raised $11,000. So it was great.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it was really great. It was really, really great. Just powerful, and I think it speaks to what Provincetown is about, which is a much bigger sense of community, and especially in this time period where we find ourselves really struggling to. I think we're all still kind of figuring out what's happening after the overturning of Roe versus Wade, which leaves a lot of other things I think at risk. We specifically, I think, as a community, are really trying to grapple with next steps, and it makes it even more important to not only identify but celebrate, uplift, and continue to build safety around spaces that provide comfort, safety, awareness, and most specifically a sense of community.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, but even outside of Women Crafts, Michelle, who owns Women Crafts, she spearheads so much activism in town and spearheaded almost all of the response to the overturn of Roe v. Wade. She's really amazing and doing really great
warrior,
work.
incredible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of the kind of turmoil and everything going on, in Texas, there's been a lot of controversy around things like Drag Queen Story Hour. A lot of Republican politicians are claiming that it is a sexualized environment that children shouldn't be in because there are drag queens there. You've done a lot of work through Lisa Frankenstein, which is like kind of drag music that's geared towards kids. How are you feeling in this moment?
I have done story hours. I have my own kids book coming out this October, October 25th. Pre-order it now. I have a children's album. This is a space that's very sacred to me. And I think that first and foremost what's happening is that there's a massive distraction going on. And that's even when we're talking about, like, let's take, for example, this most recent case of a 10-year-old needing to have an abortion. Jim Jordan, who's a representative from Ohio, my home state, distracts by talking about how Joe Biden is feeling in inflation and completely pulling away from the issue because because now that they've overturned Roe v. Wade, they're so afraid to touch this topic because it is a lightning rod and because it will take people to the polls during the midterms. Conversely, what's happening in Texas is also, it's the same story. Uvalde happens. 2 days later, a state representative or a state senator there is saying, we have to keep kids away from drag queens. Actually, we need to have gun reform, but you can go ahead and make me the boogeyman and say that I'm the bad news, when all I'm trying to do is actually spread love, make sure that kids understand basic fundamentals of kindness, confidence, and accessibility for themselves or their friends or their parents. And so I think, again, don't get distracted by the messaging, because we all know, right? Drag queens have led the charge in communities all over the world for a very long time. And they continue to do so in these spaces that are oftentimes fraught with problems like this. And I think that these things it's just a distraction. And so I think, shame on them, because they're really failing the kids. Specifically in Texas, they're failing them. And so they're putting anti-trans books on the laws. They're on the books. They're putting like gender confirming care. They're trying to make that a problem. They're trying to put parents on the line for caring for their kids. This is not the country any of us want to live in.
Right.
And so again, drag queens are a big target, and they're an easy target.
Right.
We're walking targets because we profess who we are as we're walking down the street. You can see who we are, but our queerness is on our shoulder, and it's just an easy target for them.
Well, thank you for continuing to do that work, and it's
Thanks.
it's also like
Sorry,
really
I was like punctuated. I was like, let's make it light.
back to me. No, but it is important, and me growing up, in the early 90s, it was like I didn't see a lot of representation of like what I could be, and I feel like especially drag queens, they exemplify you. Like, you can be anything you want to be as long as you're kind, as long as you're caring, as long as you're confident.
Yeah, drag really is such a celebration of self. It doesn't matter how you and how you package it, because it's your own unique brand, your own unique story, your own unique version of you. Whether you're a drag queen, you're a drag king, however you're presenting, but it's your own heightened version of yourself, and And drag is celebratory. Drag is about joy. Drag is about loudly proclaiming space and loudly proclaiming self. And I don't know when people are afraid of people standing in their truth because they themselves have the inability to do so. So I think, especially now, the most punk, RuPaul says drag is an act of it's a radical act of, I don't even know what she says. I can't even quote it, it's too early. But she says something, and you're gonna Google it, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's what she says. And they'll be like, we're all born naked, and the rest is drag. No, but that's not it too. She also wrote a song about that. She wrote a song about that. She wrote a song about a couple other things, sissying that walk, which, but
that gentleman who did that last night, I was living.
so great. It was so great. But I think the most punk type of drag right now are these queens who are willing to put themselves on the front line, who are willing, even in San Francisco, had a story time that was stormed by Oath Keepers or some other really inept group of gentlemen. These drag queens who are doing these story hours, these interactions with children and families of LGBTQIA plus kids or parents who they themselves are LGBTQIA plus, these drag queens are the people who are on the front line right now in this movement. And they're so punk and they're so radical and it's so beautiful to see. It's beyond allowing access for people to feel safe. Now that we have marriage equality, which we may lose, we're allowing people to have the dream that they want to have. And I think drag queens performing in family spaces continues to provide queer parents or parents of queer kids access to the world that they want to give to their kids. And that's important.
I love that.
There are a lot of acts that come for like a one-night only engagement. They swoop in right before the show, they leave right after the show. You've made a whole week of your first trip, though, right?
Yeah.
So who did you get to see? What have you done?
Honey, so this is my first time in Provincetown. And so I was really I had a list of the people that I saw. I had to see Dina Martino because I have seen videos of Dina for years and years and years and years, and I've never had the chance to see Dina in person. So Dina was my first stop. My all-time favorite drag queen in the entire world calls Provincetown home over the summer, and it's Varla Jean Merman.
Me too.
And I just think she's the best in the world. And I saw Varla at Joe's Pub years ago. And then knowing that I was coming to Provincetown, it was like the mission was to see Varla again. And then I went to tea at Boat Slip, and the next day, and Varla came up to me with her husband, and I was just so overwhelmed because we'd met briefly one time, and then I just couldn't. I had to punch, and I started stammering, and I was just gushing, and I had no way to speak. And she's also very muscular. I was like, whoa!
Big gal.
Really daddy. And then I saw Provincetown legend, Miss Richfield, 1981.
This is literally the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Who I've never seen. I'm so familiar with Richfield, and I've never had the opportunity to see Miss Richfield. And it's what's happening here is I think it's what's so special about Provincetown is that this is like a queer Disneyland in its own way because it's a community that's so created and curated and cultivated by the space that we want to have and live in and call our own. And you have these the Mount Rushmore, right, of these queens who I've always heard about them in this world, in this environment, in this setting, but I've never had the chance or the privilege to see it. And I saw Latrice Royale, who's also one of my very favorite entertainers. A very, very dear friend of mine who I've known long before I was ever on Drag Race, and is the most real and the most incredible. And her husband Christopher Hamblin, is just a doll. And I want to just also say thank you to Mac, Michael Mackesy, who was my accompanist last night, who has a residency at the Pilgrim House all summer long. He, just the culture. He jumped in, embraced me, learned all this music for this show, but he was just incredible.
It was so seamless.
He's amazing. But those were the first shows I saw. And I had 3 lobster rolls this week.
You went to the pool.
I went to the pool. I went to Bear Soup.
Yeah.
I did. I didn't get in the pool I have no fur I didn't want to get in the book.
If you got in and back out, you'd have some fur on you.
I know, that's the thing. I'd be like, I would go in hairless. I'd come out and be like, yeah, all burly. I'm like, hey.
This is the best first week I've ever heard.
You're doing everything right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I went to dinner at, I'm going to dinner tonight at, I'm going to dinner tonight. But like, I've had all the good food. I have experienced Joe's Coffee. I've had lunch at the patio. I stopped at Lobster Pot. I had Squealing Pig. I mean, like, I've tried to see everything. They took me on
your Dune tour.
Oh my God, Art's Dune tours. Mm-hmm. Rob took a group of us on a Dune tour, and it was majestic. Mm-hmm. The shacks out in the dunes. We were there at sunset, and so they parked the truck, and we looked out over the water, and we saw whales cresting, and we saw seals swimming on the shoreline, and it was this whole other world outside of this beautiful Shangri-La, and it's all, how this all comes together it's remarkable. I just think it's like, I was walking down the street the other day, I was walking down Commercial, and the flags flying, and everyone walking kind of together while cars are trying to go by, and there are people on bikes, and it doesn't even feel like I'm in the United States.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's, I mean, for anyone who is not giving themselves the opportunity to come here is really missing out.
Come on.
I'm in love. I'm like literally in love. I hope I get to come back.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
Maybe we'll see our Nina West residency.
Oh my
in
God. I
Provincetown
don't even know
in
what that
the
would
summer
look
soon.
like. Can you imagine? I'd be like, yeah, I would be like, move me right in next door to my best friend John Waters.
But first, back on Broadway and Hairspray.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. Yeah, because I mean, that's not gonna happen. But maybe it will. Maybe it will.
Right.
Yeah.
You're touring with Hairspray right now, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, Hairspray is, so we're on a little hiatus. We have 6 weeks off. Mm-hmm. We go back to New York City to start rehearsals again. Then we'll go back out on the road, and really excitingly, we're going to be in Boston for 2 weeks. October. The last 2 weeks of October, so we'll be there for Halloween.
The last 2 weeks of October.
That's my birthday. Fine, I'll go.
You should come. Please come. It's gonna be
excited,
magical.
yeah.
It's gonna, like, we're really excited to play Boston, and celebrate. We'll be here for Halloween, so I think a lot of people are planning on going to Salem and experiencing that while we're here. And
Halloween in P-Town's really cool.
I heard there's a Spooky Bear thing.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do that.
Perfect.
I mean, yeah.
But today, you've got your wiener roast.
Honey, if anyone can roast a wiener, it is not me.
But Nina,
I need a big. Go on.
Senator Julian Sear, and Brian Sims are hosting the wiener roast today. I think it might be sold out or very, very, very close. So
I think it's, yeah.
There are
Three
three
tickets.
tickets. I'll get them
left.
right now, or you're not coming. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting
Thanks
with us
for
today.
having me.
We know you got to get all.
Yeah, I gotta get in drag.
Yeah, for the wieners.
Wait, I also I painted my toenails
Slay.
the bear flag.
Oh my god! I loved
You don't
your
need to
dress
do-
last night.
Thank you.
Did you have that made for this week, or just
Yes.
something you had?
Yeah, the whole the crazy. I will say this: the crazy thing is, like, they're like, "Oh, it's a show for Bear Week," and I was like, "I just really want to show out," and so I wrote the show for Bear Week, and so like all the outfits were made for the show last night. It's like, you know.
You as a Care Bear in the beginning, I was like, that is so Nina West as Bear Week. It's like,
yeah, my version of Bear Week, and I didn't do it because I was very nervous when I came out. But my belly, when I was doing Good Morning Provincetown, I was gonna like do all my emotions, like layered
cute.
down into, but that's something we all missed.
Next time.
Thank you so much for coming in. I'll see you in a few hours right here at the brewery
Yes,
for
you
your
will.
wiener roast.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you to our sponsors, Be Well Cannabis, Cafe Heaven, The Red Inn, Crown and Anchor, Provincetown Brewing
Adam
Company.
Howard Metal Workshop at 3 Bradford Street, ProjectValorsailing.org, and
Yeah.
viewers like yourself.
Yeah, thanks for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.
We'll see you next week.
Good morning, everybody.